service and talk to one of our amazing hospitality team out there. Again, we just want to welcome you and thank you for coming and being with us this morning. You guys ready for some an announcement this morning? There's only one, so we're making it easy. We see what we do is we give you a whole bunch of announcements and get you crazy, and then we calm down for a little while and we just do one or two, and then we do a whole bunch again. So, in the next few weeks, be prepared for a whole bunch of announcements. So this week, we're just announcing that coming into the new year, coming into January, something that we're passionate about, that we want to do as we step into the new year, right? We're stepping into a new season, right? And as we do that, we're going to start off the year right. And how we start off the year right is by taking some time to pray and fast for what God has in store for us as a church, for us as individuals. So that's how we're going to start off the new year. So we'd like to welcome you to be a part of that. It's going to be the 8th through the 28th, I believe. And so we'd like to partner with you with that. There's going to be more details to come in the next few weeks on what we're doing and how we're doing it and what ways you can fast and all the details with that. But that's coming up in a couple of Sundays, and so we wanted to get that in your brains and on your calendars so that you were prepared for that. That was an easy announcement, right? That was a quick one, right? All right, awesome. This morning, it's my privilege to talk to you guys about tithe and offering as well, and it was an easy one for me. On Friday, we got the privilege and the opportunity to go to Martin Luther King Elementary, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before. It's an elementary school in Rio Rancho that God has given us the open door to be able to go into and be a part of. That God's given us the doorway to share the light of Jesus with this school. It's a Title I school, so they have a lot of individuals that can't afford certain things, and so we got the privilege of going and handing out Christmas meals to families there. And we also got the privilege of taking a bunch of toys, and a lot of toys that you guys donated, we were able to take there. We were able to serve 12 families. We were able to serve 4 teachers and staff members. And here's the thing that I loved the most about it. It wasn't coordinated, but my contact, Miss Deidre Abadaka, she didn't tell any of the parents that there was going to be gifts as well. And so when all the parents got there to receive their Christmas meal, we said, "Oh, by the way, there's a table over here where you guys can go and get some gifts for your kids." And it made every one of the parents' days. They were so excited, they were so happy that they were able to get some gifts for their kids. And so I don't know about you, but Pastor Jason was talking about a few weeks ago about who loves giving gifts. I'm one of those people. I love giving gifts. It brings joy to my heart to give gifts. And so it put a smile on my face when I got to see parents go and get gifts for their kids. We had a team there that was helping them wrap those gifts so that they were coming from the parents to the kids, and the kids didn't see them. So it was awesome. It was a joyful time to be able to just hang out and see God do some awesome stuff. We got opportunities to pray with every family as we took stuff out to their vehicles with them, and so we were able to introduce the light of Jesus in their life if they didn't experience it yet. And that was another thing that I think is amazing. That's probably the best part of it all, right? Is that we get to talk to people about Jesus. And so all that being said, I want to say thank you guys for being generous, being a generous church, a giving church, a loving church that is about our community, about giving to our community. And I promise you made several families happy by buying a couple of toys. So thank you so much for doing that. Can you give yourselves a hand for that? You guys are amazing. As the hospitality team comes this morning, I'm going to say a quick prayer and we'll collect offering this morning. God, we thank you and we praise you that we get the honor and the privilege to give. We get the honor and the privilege to give with joyful and glad and sincere hearts. God, I thank you so much that we were able to serve this community. God, I pray right now that as we collect tithe and offering this morning, that we would give with generous and kind hearts. God, that it would go to further the kingdom of God right here in Rio Rancho, or in Rio Rancho, right here in Albuquerque, right here in Taylor Ranch. God, we praise you and we thank you for everything you're doing in your mighty and your powerful name. Amen.
Well, Merry Christmas, church. How are you today? Good? Are you excited for Christmas? Hey, I love that all of our kids have joined us today. Welcome. I apologize in advance. I'm not going to be nearly as fun as Pastor Lisa. But we love, this is a tradition for us to have Christmas service as families. Hopefully, on the way in, we have goodie bags for your kids, and that'll maybe help keep them occupied for a few minutes. But kids, if you want to help me this morning, and if it's okay with your parents, I would love for you to help me with the Christmas story today. So, if it's okay with your parents, I'm going to have you meet Pastor Lisa and her team right back here by the back doors, and they're going to take you and they're going to get you ready. We have some costumes that we need you to get on so that you can help me with the Christmas story, okay? So, you don't have to go, but it's way more fun if you do, I promise, okay? So, I'm going to give you a minute to make your way back there. I guess, dads, if you want to help, no, I'm teasing. All right. Bill, they're going to go get ready to help me tell the Christmas story. So, our Christmas series, we've been leading up to this for 2 weeks. Our series probably doesn't sound very Christmassy, all right? I'll just tell you that up front because it's called Life Interrupted. But the idea is this: what does the Christmas story look like? Not reading about it today, right? But if you are actually in it. And so each time this year, as I've sat down to reread this familiar story, I've tried to put myself into it, right? I've tried to imagine what would it be like. Yesterday, we actually opened presents with my parents. Lisa and I and the girls are leaving after church today to go to her family. And so yesterday was Christmas with my family. And so we got, the Bible out and we opened to Luke and we began to read. And I even asked the girls, I said, all right, so, 2 weeks ago we talked about wise men, and last week we talked about Mary. I said, what if today as we read it, what if we think about the shepherds? And so as we read it, just as a family, I would pause and we would talk about what would it have been like to be one of the shepherds in the field when this, event happened. Because it's very different for us to read about it today than if you were actually in it. You get that, right? That's kind of the idea, is what would it have been like, if you were in it? Because see, the people in the Christmas story, they weren't wearing ugly Christmas sweaters yet, right? Like that wasn't a thing, right? They weren't singing the Christmas carols. They weren't decorating trees. Like they weren't going on Christmas light scavenger hunts and drinking hot chocolate. That's one of our traditions, is we go look at Christmas lights and we have a checklist and we try to find different things, right? And so that's not what was happening. Those are traditions that have developed over time as we look back at what happened. And so they were living it as it was unfolding. So today, we're going to look at a character that I think is often overlooked, but I'm not going to tell you who it is quite yet. You'll see in just a minute. But I want us to begin by reading in the Gospel of Luke chapter 2. This is probably the most traditional version of the Christmas story. It's found in a couple of Gospels, but Luke chapter 2 says, "In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. And everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night." Now, I hope I gave our kids enough time to get ready, because I think that it would be better if you could actually see this story unfold. I think it would help your imagination if you could watch as this unfolds. And so they're going to help me today. So I'm going to get some kids to come and help me that are going to be shepherds and sheep. Okay, some shepherds and sheep. Let's see if we have any shepherds or sheep yet. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's see if we have shepherds. I think they're coming through this door. Are they coming this way? Do I have some shepherds and some sheep? Can I get some? I need some shepherds. Come on, shepherds. Y'all come right down here. All right. Give our shepherds a hand, would you? All right. Do I have any sheep? All right. Our sheep, you've lost your sheep, shepherds. Can you go find your sheep? That's what shepherds do. All right, y'all go and y'all go find your sheep, all right? I didn't give them enough time. Do you hear them? Come here, sheep. That's what shepherds do, right? Come here, sheep. All right, we're going to give them a minute, all right? So while we're stalling, turn to your neighbor and tell them your favorite thing about Christmas, all right? Do that real quick. Just tell them your favorite thing about Christmas. The shepherds are looking for their sheep. Come here, sheep. All right, what did you say? Anyone like getting gifts? Anyone? You don't like getting gifts? Wow. Anyone like giving gifts? There we go. You're more spiritual. There you go. Way to go. Anyone like Christmas lights? Decorations? Trees? By the way, I heard that our hospitality and security Christmas party was awesome last night. Were any of you at that? All right, that was fun. All right. Let's see. Do you think we have any sheep yet? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if our shepherds have found their sheep yet. All right. Let's see. Shepherds, did you find any sheep yet? Yes. You did? All right. Come on. Come on, shepherds and sheep. Y'all come on out here. Aw. Now give our shepherds a hand one more time. And look at our little sheep. Ah, all right. Shepherds, can you round your sheep up and move them around to that side of the stage? Stay down here on the floor. Let's go on the floor, okay? All right, good job. You guys shepherd your sheep. You got 3 sheep. Get them over here. Come on. Just shepherd them all the way over here. All right? Shepherd them all the way over here. All right. Good job. Man, we got a good group of shepherds. Sheep. Can I hear you, sheep? Good. Did you just moo? She identifies as a cow, apparently. Oh, come on. We got more shepherds. You lost a sheep. You lost a sheep. All right. There we go. Oh, yeah. All right. So back to our Christmas story. Here we go. All right, verse 9 of Luke 2. Y'all just stay right there. You're doing awesome, all right? Verse 9. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. Okay, let's see if we have an angel, okay? Let's see if we have an angel. Hopefully we have an angel. Let's see. Do we have an angel? I just need one. All right, come on. Beautiful little angel. This is my angel, actually. All right, you come over here. And it says that an angel showed up, shepherds, and the shepherds were terrified. Can you show me your terrified look, shepherds? That was pretty good. Sheep, I think you're terrified too. There you go. That's everything. For everything the sheep is just bah, right? All right, angel. But the angel said to them, are you ready to help me, Eden? And the angel said to them, do not be afraid. Go ahead and just tell him. Tell him. Don't be afraid. There we go. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. You don't have to do all this. Today, in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger. And suddenly, a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, all right, so angel, we need for your friends to come and help you now. We need a host of angels, all right? Host of angels, come on. Oh my goodness, we have a star. Come on out. Come on, little star. You are the star of the show, quite literally. Oh, look at this, and it's so cute. All right, little star, you just stay right here, okay? You just stay right there and just be the cute little star, okay? All right, so the host of angels showed up, all right? So again, I'm trying to imagine what it's like if I'm the sheep and the shepherd out in the field, okay? And so my imagination is wild, okay? So the host of angels show up, and I imagine it's like an angel rock band, okay? So all of y'all just pick an instrument and start playing the instrument. Come on, angels, play your instrument, guitar, drums. Yeah, they're playing, and they're singing, right? Just go, la, 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 la. Come on, angels, come on. Come on. And they're singing and they're rejoicing, right? And here's what they're rejoicing. They weren't singing la 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 la. They were singing, glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace on whom his favor rests. And then when the angels had left them and gone into heaven, go ahead, angels, go to heaven. That's through that door over there. All right. Good job, Star. You're doing amazing. You just stay right there, okay? And the angels left and they went to heaven, and the shepherds said to one another, are you ready, shepherds? Look at one another and say, let's go to Bethlehem. All right, and Bethlehem is through that door over there, same door as heaven, all right? So sheep, you stay right there. Stay, go, yeah, tell them, stay. Go, shepherds, go. Run, go to Bethlehem, all right? They said, let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about. So they hurried off, and they found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. And when they had seen them, they spread the word concerning what had been told about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told. All right, and now we need our shepherds to come back, because then it tells the shepherds. Is this helping you to imagine what's happening? Shepherds, come back, please, real quick, and come and get your sheep, okay? All right, hurry. Come on, shepherds. All right, go get your sheep. You left them. I can't believe you would do that. That's. I know I made you. It's the story that I'm reading in the Bible. All right. Come on, shepherds. Come back. Round up your sheep. Okay. And then shepherd him back that way, right back through that door. All right. And everyone, would you give these guys a hand for helping us this morning? And would you give our star one more hand? Oh my goodness. All right. Let's go back this way, little star. You did so good. Oh my goodness. That was as chaotic as I thought it would be, all right? That was fun, all right. So, did that help you? Now you have the story in your head? So, what do you think the saddest line in this story is? There's some sad lines. Does anyone think it's this line? She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, or a barn, right? Because there was no guest room available for them. Do you think that's kind of a sad line in this story? Anyone? You don't think that's a sad line? My goodness, maybe your baby was not born in a barn. Maybe you would think it would be more sad if your baby was born in a barn, right? Can you imagine this? The irony of this moment in the Christmas story? The God of creation, the Messiah, who's been anticipated, right? Who's been prophesied about. And they knew that he was going to be born in Bethlehem. This moment is by far one of the biggest moments that the world has ever encountered. And yet, when the Son of God comes into the world, there's no room for him, right? Someone missed an opportunity, right? But I don't think this is the saddest line in the story. I think there's something that's more sad. Do I have any animal lovers here today? Anyone? Animal lovers? Any dog people? Anyone? You just love? We love our dog so much that he got Christmas presents yesterday. It was funny. We were opening presents and the girls got the present for Cooper, and they tried to help him open it. He had no idea what was going on. And my dad was kind of a Scrooge in the moment, and he's like, you're training your dog to open presents under the tree. And we're like, come on, Dad, So we gave Cooper, anyone, I shouldn't ask this one, but anyone cat people? Anyone? I'm only having you raise your hand so I know who to pray for right now, okay? Bird people? Do you have any bird people? There you go, some bird. Snakes, how about that? Or reptiles as a category? Reptiles. Horses, how about horse people? Horse people. Raise your hand for any other animal, all right? And then raise your hand if you don't like animals, so we also know who to pray for. Nanette, go ahead. It's okay. We know. All right. So now that you're thinking about animals, all right, here's the saddest part of this story, I think, all right, is this verse. So the shepherds, hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in a manger. Here's why I think that verse is so sad, is I'm reading this year and I'm trying to put myself into the story, and you just kind of watched it unfold, right? The shepherds are out in the field and they've got their sheep with them, right? And the angel shows up and the angel says, don't be afraid. And the angel has all his angel buddies join him, and the rock band, the angel rock band, right, sings this song, and they're terrified. And then the shepherds, it just says that they hurried off. And I don't know this for sure, but I think that they left their sheep. I really do. This is why I think it's such a sad line, right? Have you ever left somewhere in a hurry and you've forgotten something? Anyone? Maybe you left and, have you ever left your phone somewhere, right? Or maybe your keys, or maybe, I've done this a few times, you make a cup of coffee and you're excited to take it with you, and then you're 5 minutes down the road and you remember your cup of coffee is still sitting on the kitchen counter, right? Because you get in a hurry, all right? Right? How about this? Have you ever forgotten your spouse somewhere? Come on. Or your child? Anyone? Come on, be honest. It's Christmas, all right? So I have a story. We were living in Dallas, and this new museum opened, and we wanted to go see it. It's called the Perot Museum of Nature and Science, and it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful building. It's a giant museum. It's just beautiful. And so we went there as a whole family, and we were doing really, really good, and we were just having a good time. And then there's this long escalator. It's just super, super long. And we thought we all got on the escalator, and we got all the way to the top, and we got to the top only to realize that we were missing Eden, our youngest daughter, the angel that was up here earlier. We were missing her, and the way they designed the building, there's not another escalator that goes back down. It's like a maze. You have to go over here and down these stairs and over there, and I mean, it takes like 5 minutes to get back down to where we started. And so by the time I got back down there, and I was running, I was hurrying, right? And by the time I got down there, a security guard had our daughter in his arms. And I ran up and I'm like, Eden, oh, I'm so sorry. And the security guard literally turned away from me and looked at me and glared down his nose, what kind of a father are you? You know, I could see it. It was the disdain in his eyes. And we had to go through this whole thing, and I had to prove, that she was my daughter and that I did in fact love her and I was not abandoning her. I mean, it was a big ordeal. And finally they begrudgingly gave her over to me, right? And we took the escalator back up. It was awesome. Here's what I'm trying to say is, I think when we get in a hurry, we make mistakes, right? We forget things. And I don't know for sure, but if I'm in that mindset as the shepherd and the angels show up, can you imagine? We read this today, right? We talked a few weeks ago about how we put this nice filter on the Bible stories. We read this today, and it's just this sweet story. The angels showed up and they were singing, and the shepherds were just so excited about this. And this had to have been just an insane moment for the shepherds. And it says that they hurried off. And I just think that when they hurried off, that they left their sheep. And then verse 20 says that the shepherds returned. Now, you probably know this because you're really smart people, but the Bible actually refers to us, you and I, as sheep. Did you know that? It's an analogy that's often used in the Bible. The psalmist, David, in the most famous psalm, Psalm 23, he says, "The Lord is my shepherd. I will lack nothing." So David is using this same analogy that the Lord is the shepherd and we are the sheep. In Mark chapter 6, just before this amazing miracle of the feeding of the 5,000, it says this. It says, "They went away by themselves to a solitary place," talking about Jesus and his disciples. "But many who saw them leaving recognized them, and they ran on foot from all the towns, and they got there to this place that was supposed to be solitary ahead of them. When Jesus landed and he saw this large crowd, he had compassion on them." Watch this. "Because they were like sheep without a shepherd. And so he began teaching them many things." So often in the Word of God, we're referred to as sheep. Now, I just want you to think for a minute about what happens to sheep when they're left alone, okay? Because in the Christmas story, I'm trying to think through, I know this is weird, but I'm trying to think about the Christmas story through the eyes of the sheep. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. The sheep have been left all alone out in this field. So you got to think, what happens to a sheep when they're left alone? Now, I started to think about this, and I thought, why does the Bible refer to us as sheep? Like, why not, cheetahs or wolves or bears or even a liger, right? You remember the liger from Napoleon Dynamite, right? So do a little research on sheep and you'll find out how pitiful they are, all right? I mean, just research sheep, okay? They're not strong. They're not independent creatures. They're not hunters. They're not fierce predators. They're actually kind of pathetic, all right? Sheep are just kind of pathetic. They're entirely dependent upon the shepherd for a couple of reasons, all right? The first is that sheep are just kind of dumb, okay? They're just kind of dumb. There's a news story. This is real. There's a news story, okay? And I'll just read you. Here's a clip from the news story. Hundreds of sheep followed their leader off a cliff in eastern Turkey, plunging to their deaths this week, while shepherds look on in dismay. 400 sheep fell 15 meters to their deaths in a ravine in Van province near Iran, but broke the fall of another 1,100 animals who survived. Shepherds from a nearby village neglected the flock while they were eating breakfast, leaving the sheep to roam free. All right, so sheep are kind of dumb, all right? So shepherds go to eat breakfast, all right? And they're eating breakfast, and one of the sheep wanders off, and he just walks straight off a cliff, okay? 1,499 of his sheep buddies follow him off of the cliff, all right? The first 400 sheep that die, but the next 1,100 are falling on top of their friends, and their friends are kind of stopping the fall, right? And so they survived while crushing their friends underneath them, right? I'm glad you're laughing. I didn't know if you would find this funny or not, all right? So sheep they're kind of dumb animals, all right? The other thing about sheep is that they're directionless, all right? They're kind of like in that story, they're prone to wander, right? Even if you put them in a perfect environment. You remember what David said in the Psalm, in Psalm 23, the green pastures and still waters. Even if you put them there, sheep still, they have a tendency to wander off. So they need a shepherd who will manage them, right? Who actually will micromanage them, who will keep them under constant surveillance. If not, they'll wander off and they'll be lost, which is what we read about in the Bible often, right? The 99, but the one wanders off. They're directionless, but sheep are also defenseless. Have you ever thought about this? Left to themselves, sheep, they just won't last very long, all right? Pretty much any other domesticated animal could be put out in the wild and they'll figure out how to survive. But if you put a sheep in the wild, you've just given nature a snack, okay? And think about it, right? They just don't have a way to protect themselves, right? And if there's danger. One way an animal might protect themselves is to fight, right? But sheep are not fighters, am I right? I mean, they don't have, teeth or, they don't have fangs. They don't have venom. They don't have any of those things. And so just imagine with me, the sheep that you saw earlier, the cute little sheep. Imagine a bear coming out after the sheep, okay? The sheep are not going to rear up on their hooves, right, and fight the bear, right? They don't have any way to do that. Are they going to run away, right? Fight or flight. That's often how we take care of ourselves, right? Are they gonna run away? Well, unfortunately, sheep aren't really fast. They're not agile, right? Last I checked, they don't have wings, right? They can't fly away from the bear, right? So things are looking pretty good for the bear at this point. Bear versus sheep, right? They can't fight. They can't flight. So one other thing that animals sometimes do is they'll posture, right? So my dog will do this. Cooper, I was telling you about him earlier. He stands guard at our front window, and he guards us from the killer cottontail bunny rabbits, okay? If a rabbit comes by, you would think, the boogeyman was coming the way. I mean, he postures himself, right? He kind of bows up, and the hair stands up, and he growls, and he barks, and he shows his teeth. Right? I mean, that's the way that an animal will do it, right? A rattlesnake, right, will warn you with this rattle, right? I mean, but think about it. All the sheep can do, right, is baa, right? How intimidating, right? Can you imagine a sheep, kind of puffs out his wool and baa, right? Tries to scare away the bear, right? So they're kind of dumb and they're directionless and they're defenseless. So when God refers to us as sheep, it's really not a compliment. It's really a picture of our need for a shepherd. It's a picture that without a shepherd, we're prone to wander away. We're defenseless and we're directionless. And I just, as I thought about the Christmas story, I realized maybe this Christmas you are feeling directionless or defenseless. And I won't dare call you dumb, but maybe you made a dumb decision in 2019. Right? Maybe you made a decision, and here at the end of the year, you're wishing that you had made a different decision. Maybe this Christmas is going to be a tough one for you. You know, Christmas is supposed to be joyful and wonderful, and we put the lights up and we sing the songs. But maybe this year you found yourself going, I just don't feel like singing the songs. I just don't feel like, unwrapping the present. Like, this is just going to be a tough Christmas. This year, as I worked on a message for today, I began to think about the sheep and how they were left all alone. And I thought about some of the situations that I'm aware of in our church family. I thought for some of you, this is your first Christmas alone because maybe you're divorced or someone has passed away this year that you won't get to celebrate with again. Or maybe all of your family lives away and for the first time you can't get away. You can't afford to get there. You can't get the time off the work. Whatever it is. Maybe this year you received some devastating news and it's just like a dark cloud kind of hanging over this joyful season. And I just wanted to encourage you today, if that's you, if you're in one of those categories, because I found some hope this year as I read the Christmas story, and I thought about these sheep who were just left all alone, directionless and defenseless and just out in the wild, prone to the attacks of, the bear or the lion or whatever. And I just have some really good news for you today. The Gospel of Matthew records the Christmas story as well. And I just want to show you two verses. Matthew chapter 1, verse 22 says this. This took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. She will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him, watch this name, Emmanuel. He said they will call this baby Emmanuel. And that name, Emmanuel, actually means God with us. Can I just get you for a moment today to think about this? I know that you've read this story probably hundreds of times. I know you've thought about this, but I just want you to think about this one component of the Christmas story. That this baby that was sent was given a name, Emmanuel, that actually means God with us. This is the Christmas story. God sent his son as a baby, right? We read about it. There was no room for him, and so he's born in a barn, right, with a bunch of stinky animals, right? But he came so that he, first of all, would understand what it's like to be us. Right? He came as a baby to grow up in this world, to understand the pain and the chaos and the turmoil and the various emotions and things that you and I, we go through every single day. He came so that he could be like us, but he also came so that he could be with us. You see, you study any religion, and you'll find that this is the differentiating factor from what we believe and what everyone else believes. Is that our God is not a far-off God who's just looking down on us and wondering, what's going on. He actually came to be with us, and then ultimately, he came to pay the price for us. He grew up, right? Today, the focus is on the adorable little baby, right? And babies are adorable, right? But any of you that have had babies know that babies grow up, right? And they don't stay adorable, right? They turn into teenagers, right? And then they turn into young adults. And then, right? I mean, Jesus grew up in this world so that he could know what it was like to be like us. But ultimately, he did this so that he could pay the price for us, so that he could go to the cross. And I know that's the Easter story, and we don't do that till spring, but you got to tie it all together. Because Jesus came to be with us. Whatever life has dealt you this year, can I just encourage you with this? Whatever you've gone through this year, Jesus came to be with you. If you went through a tough season this year, you probably at some point felt like you were alone. You probably felt like, we talked about this last week as Mary questioned God, right? You probably felt like, has God abandoned me? Does he see what I'm going through? You've probably felt like you're alone. And I have one point today, all right? One point. It's all it is. God came to be with you. That this holiday, wherever you find yourself, whatever circumstance, whatever is going on, God came to be part of your life. Psalm 23, David, again, he says this. Psalm 23, verse 4, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. I hope you find some encouragement today in knowing that this baby that we're celebrating, singing about, rejoicing over, he came so that he could be with you. You know, I love our decorations and the presents that are under the tree. Yesterday when we woke up, the tree was just full of presents. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was such an awesome Christmas. And for many of you, you'll do that over the next couple of days. You'll find yourself at a party with a bunch of, can I just tell you that the greatest gift is a God who wants to be with you. The greatest gift is a God who wants to walk with you through the good times, through the hard times, and through everything in between. God came to be with you. We're going to finish today with a candlelight. And let me just say that I'm a little nervous because of all of our kids. But parents, I trust you, okay? So you can make the decision if your kid can have a candle or if they should help you with yours. All right, I'm going to let you make that decision. But you'll see some buckets there on the ends of the rows. And if you'll just take one and pass it and just pass it down the row there. And then in just a moment, our hospitality team is going to come through and they're going to start at the back and work their way forward and help you to light the candle. And if you'll help your neighbor light the candle. And before we do that, let's let everyone get a candle. And I want to help us to have some perspective this morning because I want you to have a visual of what's going on. Chase, will you give me my Bible right there? All right, everyone getting a candle. All right, we're going to start in just a minute. Let me read one verse. I know this isn't the Christmas story, but I was reading this morning and wanted to share it with you. In the very beginning of the Bible in Genesis chapter 1, it says this. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the water. So even in the darkness, the Spirit of God was there. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and He separated the light from the darkness. As your candles are lit, would you just join me on your feet? And we're going to sing one song together. And I want you to visually get a picture as you look around at the light as they're lighting up and understand that God came to be with you. You are not alone. Let's sing together this morning.